Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on this video. This is a short video that I am putting together that actually chronicles my song Bout, where it came from, who is being shouted out on the song. I'll go more into detail about each of the individuals that is actually named on the song. I'll tell you just basically all about my song and how we got here. So let's get to it. Okay, so let me tell you first of all, the inspiration for the song Bauta was actually, it's so funny, it actually came from a beat that I created for, say, Sean Bradley. As you all know, in June of 2017, I actually went to Nashville with, say, Sean Bradley. I went there to help him to film his first music video. He was laying the tracks for his first song, and well, it's not his first song, but he was laying tracks for the song, and I was asked to actually star in the video, and I was flattered, and I said, cool, no problem. So in the time of us being in Nashville, things, we sat and I was in the studio all day and this, that, thing, and the other, and we actually had ended up talking about doing a project for me. It came up, and it was always something that I did want to do. You know, as you all know, I've been striving, trying to get myself onto RuPaul's Drag Race. That's still something that I really want to do. And with that, one of the things that has always been for me, the Drag Race girls, a lot of them have albums and they have singles and all of that. And that was always very attractive to me. That was always one of the things on my bucket list, if you will. So we had actually talked about it. And that was that. So when I left Nashville, came home, that was kind of starting to get the ball rolling as to me trying to figure out what I wanted to do, what type of music that I wanted to do, and that kind of thing. And I knew I want to do something that is upbeat, something that you can dance to, something that'll make you move your feet, not sit in your seat all night. So it was that kind of thing. So anyway, long story short, Sean ends up asking me about creating a beat for him because I was creating beats. And I did the beat for him, and Sean is just Sean. Sean is a very hard to please person at times, and he didn't care for the beat. And I said, okay. So I didn't scrap my beat. I just put it to the side, and I said, I'll get back to that later. So that was that. Let's fast forward to September. Sean and I and a group of our friends, we went to Vegas. Okay, so on my way home from Vegas, I'm on the plane. You know, it's a 4.5, 5 hour plane ride coming back here to Pittsburgh from Vegas, and that's where the hook came from. I ended up being on the plane, playing around on my phone, and I ran across the beat that I had done for Sean, and I was like, oh. And I laughed, and I was like, yeah, that was my little beat I did for Sean. I just kept listening to it. And I was like, you know, I always liked it. And I was like, you know what? And that's where, next thing I know, I'm sitting there, and I'm in my head, and then the hook comes. You better hurry up. Get your ass to the floor, because I'm about to fuck it up. And I was like, So I wrote it down, you know, and then I was like, I can do something with that. And I get home. I end up contacting my people. And when I say my people, it's actually really one person. It's one person, but he is a corporation all on his own, baby. When I tell you he is talented and he is creative as hell, but we'll get to that. We'll get to him. I contact him, and he's like, okay, cool. This is what you want to do. No problem. I'm down with it. All right. He said, tell me what you got. Show me what you got going on. I gave him the beat. I told him what I was talking about. He's like, all right, you need to finish writing your song. Finish writing the song. I wrote the song, finished it all up. He came back to me and told me, so what I did, I'm going to create you a beat that is more your speed. Something that's more you. This one, he's like, I don't really see this one for what you're doing and your personality. So it's cool, but I think I got something better. And I said, okay. And of course I trust him. So he created a beat that really did fit me, and it really fit the mood of the project. And by the mood of the project was this. I said, what do I want to talk about here? And I said, what is it that I do? YouTube. I said, it's something that it just stuck out to me. I was on my way back from Vegas, all on a trip that had to do with me and YouTube. The whole thing of me ending up doing a musical project all had to do with YouTube. So what better for a first song than something that explains how I even got to YouTube and what I'm all about on YouTube. So that's how I got started. I said, okay, let's get with it. And I went ahead and I wrote the song, and that's what the song basically is. It basically, Bout is just basically letting you know that I'm about to do something different. I'm about to continue building on to what it is that I'm learning in my YouTube journey. Things that I'm learning to stretch the talents that I already have, and just a basic shout out to all of the people who have something to do, who have inspired this journey. And that's what Bauta is all about. So what I'm going to do with this video, because of course, songs go by so fast, they're so snappy and they're so quick, that some things you may have missed in the song. So I'm going to really give my people who I mentioned the proper shout outs in this video. So keep watching. It's going to get really, really good. Okay. So let's talk about me actually before I got on YouTube and started creating content. I had started watching, I had run into the Scorpion Show. And the first video of the Scorpion Show that I saw was this hilarious parody of Precious, the movie Precious. I love the movie, love the writing. You all know I'm a writer as well. So I love the writing that Sapphire actually did for the book Push that created Precious and all of that. So I love that. And I ended up seeing this video, and it's that daggone Kevin and Mikhail acting a fool. And they redid the whole scene with Monique and Gabrielle Sidibe when they're on the steps, and it was the most hilarious thing that I think I have ever seen. So that was my introduction to the Scorpion Show, and I ended up saying something to my mother about it. My mother's like, "Oh, I know them. They do these videos and stuff." And then she said, "You know what? And sometimes the one little boy's mom comes on, and she's real cool." And I'm like, okay, so that's where I started watching the Scorpion Show. So the Scorpion Show, there's Kevin and there's Mikhail. And yes, they inspired me before I ever even started doing videos. I was watching them, and it hit me one day. I was like, I could do that, what they're doing. The things they talk about. I love music because they love music, and they love current topics, and they love different TV shows. Kevin loves a lot of TV shows. Mikhail is more, he loves music and movies. Mikhail loves movies. So shout out to Kevin and Mikhail. Thank you so much for inspiring me to get up and do what it was that I thought that I could do out in these YouTube streets. So Kevin and Mikhail of the Scorpion Show. All right. Another person that I was watching before I started my channel was Funky Dineva. I love Funky. Funky is one of the first that I was watching. Again, I'm filtered through because I used to go on YouTube for just like music. I would go on, and of course, I'm a performer, a drag performer, so I could always find like interesting versions of songs and things like that on YouTube. So I would go on to YouTube and I would be doing that. I ran into Funky Dineva. I said, who is this fool with this full face of hair and these raggedy wigs and just on there just clowning. And then he would be doing some of the shows that I actually watch and I would be laughing. And I'm like, these are conversations that I'm actually having over the phone with my girlfriends and stuff. And I'm saying these things and we're laughing back and forth and talking about the show. And I'm like, I could do that. And then when I'm sitting there and he has that same dual personality that I have, whereas Funky Dineva Ross and Quentin Latham are like completely different people, same as James Colwell and Milan TreZur. It's like two completely different people, whereas Quentin is very business and can be funny, but Quentin is about business and real life. Funky Dineva Ross is about clowning and carrying on. And she's more of the comic relief. With me, with James is kind of serious and says what he has to say. And then Milan is the glam. It's the glam. It's the sparkle and the glitz. So I said, boy, doing the exact same thing that I'm actually doing, but just in a different platform. And I already was on public television. The public television circuit here in Pittsburgh actually had two television shows that I was actually doing right on our public access TV. So I was like, okay, I said I could do that. So big shout out to Funky Dineva for inspiration of saying I could actually go on and be me and every piece of me, because I never introduced Milan to public access television until after I was actually on YouTube. She was not, public access television knew nothing about my other persona. But I figured out that YouTube, I could actually be me and all of me. And the other thing that with Funky Dineva is a walking testimony of how you can go from being unknown to being completely known on YouTube, completely and purely by accident. He was actually just clowning and just doing something and made a little video and ended up, it turned into a brand, and he's been very successful, and his YouTube has taken him to places that I'm sure he never thought in a million years that he would actually walk on with that Funky Dineva character. So definitely from nobody to absolutely somebody in the entertainment world. Because he had a regular 9 to 5. He was just a regular person. And now he's this big internet sensation and everybody knows who he is. And hey, shout out to Funky Dineva. Okay. Next, I was actually watching T.S. Madison. T.S. Madison. I love Maddie. Do you understand me? Maddie is a trans woman. She is a beautiful trans woman who has a hell of a background story. Okay? Maddie is that person that had dreams and aspirations, but for whatever reason, life led them this direction, and she was doing a different business and a different type of lifestyle, and always knew in the back of her head that this was not exactly where she wanted to end up, and that she was going to change that, and she has done that, and she has changed that thing around. And I'm not going to tell her whole story. You have to look her up if you don't know her, which I can't imagine that you don't know her. T.S. Madison, she is an internet phenom at this point. She's the real deal. She's the real deal. She's the girl that took lemons and made lemonade, literally. And she is definitely one of the reasons that I'm even here. So thank you so much, Maddie. I love T.S. Madison. And she tells it like it is. She pulls no punches and she plays no games. And she has done some of everything. She has music. She has all types of videos. She does all type of public performance, and she does appearances, and she's on television. She has, like I said, she's a phenom. And things are just every month, it seems, something else big is happening for Maddie. I am so happy for her. But I was watching Maddie before I ever came over here to YouTube. And like I said, she's a trans woman. I'm not. I am just a female impersonator. But I just could see so much of the things I loved and the things I love to do. She was doing those things. And I'm like, so I can get over, I could do that too. So thank you so much, Maddie, for the inspiration. I thank you. And I love her and I still follow her. I'm a big, 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 huge fan of T.S. Madison. Next up on the roster, everybody knows Issa Rae. Issa Rae is another success story. She is very relatable. She is extremely talented. And she started off on YouTube. And she is a person, she writes, she directs, she produces, and she is living her dream. She went from a YouTube channel doing what she does. She has a television show of her own on HBO. And last I heard, she was working on something else. This past year in 2017, she's run the whole circuit of the award shows and she's met celebrities and she is literally walking in her dream. And I mean, making it look very, very easy. So Issa Rae is definitely a ray of sunshine to anybody who actually has a YouTube channel, who are thinking about getting a YouTube channel. She is what you can do just by using your talents and using this platform as a vehicle. You can see how far you can actually make it. Issa Rae, she is absolutely phenomenal. And when I'm thinking about Issa, let's talk about Dustin Ross, who has actually, I was following Dustin on YouTube, and Dustin is actually, he has a YouTube channel. He has a podcast now. He's actually done a guest appearance on the Insecure show that belongs to Issa Rae. He's a personality, and he's talented as hell. And he's really, really cool on the eyes. I ran into Dustin. I said, who in the hell is this little bald-headed man, honey, with these V-necks? And that's what he's known for, his V-necks. And I mean, he's the true king of the V-neck. Dustin would have a V-neck and the V would be almost down to his waist. And I'm like, who is this little man? Fashions are always on fleek. Like I said before, totally pleasing to the eye, smart as can be, and bald-headed and yum, honey. That's Dustin Ross. You know, he's just one of those people, his personality just draws you in. His personality along with all that other stuff he got going on. So, shout out to Dustin Ross. Somebody I really, really enjoy and I've been following, and he is an absolute sweetheart. He really, really is. So shout out to Dustin Ross. Okay, let's talk about once I actually got here. Once I actually got to YouTube, one of the first people that I started watching after I got here was Much Love from KY. Nina. She is actually the very first friend that I actually made on YouTube. We have so much in common. So much in common. And at this point, she has become more of, she's not my friend. She's like my sister. She's like my sister. And this is the weird thing. Let me tell you this story real fast. Much Love from KY. She had a friend that was a gay male years ago, and he has passed on. When she met me, the very first time her and I ended up talking on the phone, she broke out into tears because watching my videos and then communicating with me back and forth. And then when we got on that phone and we started talking, I remind her of her friend who had passed on. Funny thing is, she reminded me of my best friend who had actually passed on. It was the weirdest thing. So it is just kind of like the powers that be put us together, and we feel well, we can never fill the void for those people that have actually moved on from us, but there's we got a replacement, like a nice replacement for something that we were missing, the two of us. And it's crazy. We just hit it right off. We love fashion and we love makeup and we love clothing and we love award shows and fashion shows and we just have so much in common. She has a set of twins. I just love the twins. And then the Clave, honey, which is what she calls her mom and her aunts. They're the Clave. They are hilarious. So, and then her husband, it's a whole extended piece of family to me at this point. And when I was actually diagnosed with cancer in 2015, guess who the first person that I called? Was my new friend who knew, because she is a survivor. And I had nobody that I knew. It doesn't run in my family. I didn't have anybody that I could actually reach out to that I was really that close with. And I said, oh my God, I want to call Nina. And I did. I called Nina. And I talked to Nina and Nina talked to me. And I've talked about this. I'm not going to go into all of that. But she was everything that I needed, getting myself into my treatments and all of that stuff. She was put into my life right when she was supposed to. It was divine. It was nothing that was an accident. Trust me. But I definitely owe a lot of inspiration and a lot of love to, much love from KY. That is Nina. Nina. Love her to death. Now, let's move on to one of my absolute favorites on YouTube. And I think everybody knows who this is. Anybody who's been watching me will actually know who this person is. It is Foris Rocks. Foris Rocks. Oh, Rocky. Rocky. Everybody loves Foris Rocks. That woman sits in the back of that car, baby. And like I said, sharp as a tack. Do you understand me? She is that girly girl that you just can't help but love. She knows how to say the right things. She knows when to say them. She knows how to put the right things together. She knows how to keep herself looking real, real good. My kind of girl. But I was just drawn right to Roxanne right when I start watching YouTube. The two of us love fur. We both love diamonds. We both love a lot of the same hairdos. We have the same fashion choices a lot of times. The other thing, the big thing, she's a Capricorn, just like myself. She's a Capricorn. So I laughed so hard when I found that out. I'm like, tell me, this woman is not a Capricorn. She is. She's a Capricorn. And I just love her to death. I started off watching her. I watch every video that she puts out. Every video she puts out. I don't miss any of them. I even watch her talk about stuff that I don't even watch. I just love her. She just cracks me up. And like I said, that's her. Often imitated, never duplicated. Foris Rocks. Okay, let's talk about someone else who I just fell in love with. How about Mr. Still Standing? Mr. Still Standing, little Scotty. Little Scotty is this little person with this big voice that he sometimes muffles and keeps inside. He has a lot to say, and he has an interesting way of saying it. And that is Mr. Still Standing. Scotty does a lot of the same shows that I do. He reviews like Basketball Wives, and he does the Love and Hip Hop franchise, and Real Housewives of Atlanta, and those things. And he's funny as hell. He's very, very funny in his delivery. And he goes on rants, and baby, he really says what he wants to say. But when I say he muffles himself sometimes he's getting better at it. But sometimes we believe in Scotty more than Scotty believes in Scotty. We see the potential in Scotty. We see that he's going to be a huge YouTube star at one point. When I came, I watched him and I was like, wow, he really gets down. And then there was a period where Scotty kind of had went through some different things and he kind of left YouTube for a little bit. He wasn't there. And then now he's making this resurgence and he's doing a wonderful job. And his channel is building like this. It's just moving very fast because I think he's starting to see what we see. So I definitely could not do the song or do the shout outs without mentioning Mr. Still Standing because he is definitely living up to and standing up to his name, Mr. Still Standing. We see you, Scotty. We see you. Keep it up. You better not leave again. You better stay right here and do what you're doing because the resurgence has been fabulous. So shout out to Mr. Still Standing. All right, guys. Let's talk about Vegas. Let's just talk about Vegas, okay? All right, so I got my crew, okay? There's a crew. Say Sean Bradley, Alexander Rogers, Squeaky Jones. That's the crew, okay? That's the crew. Say Sean Bradley, you all know that's my ace in the hole. That's my road dog, okay? Southern Big Mouth, that's him. Always got something to say. It may not be the right thing, but he always has something to say. Talented. He likes to write music. He likes to sing. He has a very creative mind. He is very good at putting things together. Setting up functions and things of that nature. He likes that kind of thing. He's an organizer. And he's a vicious shit talker. That's him. That's a Sean Bradley, Southern Big Mouth. And we were like the most unlikely to be friends, but we met, and he's actually the second friend that I actually made on YouTube in a time when people were screaming about you can't make real friends on YouTube. Well, excuse me, but I have real friends that I have met on YouTube that I would have never run into or been friends with otherwise. And Say Sean Bradley is living, breathing witness to that. But that's my buddy. And I definitely have to thank Sean because, again, Sean, you know, being asked to do his video and all that kind of pushed my interest for the music stuff to come out. And so a lot of this wouldn't have even been possible. Not at this time. It would have come up at some point, but not at this time. Had it not been for me and Sean collaborating on things that we've collaborated on. So I love him to death, and he knows that. So shout out to Say Sean Bradley. Okay, Alexander Rogers. That is my buddy over in New York City. Talented, talented, talented. Alexander does a lot of the same shows. He reviews the shows that I review. But for some reason, I don't know how he does it, but this child can review a show that is an hour-long show in 5 to 7 minutes and get it all in and make you laugh like you have been watching a video for hours. That Alexander is crazy, crazy, crazy. You understand me? And he also does stand-up comedy, and he's really good. He really is good. So shout out to Alexander Rogers. And these are all my buddies that I actually went to Vegas with for the very first time. I had never been to Las Vegas. And in April of 2016, we all got together and went to Las Vegas. The other person is Squeaky Jones. That's my old Black Power soul sister. She is the girl with the afro and the afro pick with the fist, Teddy. That is Squeaky Jones. I love her, love her, love her, love her to death. And I definitely couldn't have done any type of shout outs without shouting out Squeak. Squeak is the one female, the actual female of the crew. She's our queen. That's who she is, Squeaky Jones. Now, we actually, when I said we got a new boo, that's Fayette. You hear me when I said Fay too? That's Fayette. Fayette Fayette, we met Fayette in October of 2016 when me and Sean actually did the SLVS in Vegas. He was one of the people who was a subscriber who bought a ticket and attended the function, and we hung out with Fayette and found out that Fayette knows how to party. Fayette knows how to have a good time, and we just fell in love with him. And when we ended up going back to Vegas just to vacation this year in September, we invited Fayette to come with us, and that's it. It's just a wrap. Fayette is now part of the family. He's part of the crew. That's Fayette. Now, he doesn't actually have a YouTube channel, but he is definitely a part of the crew. Yeah, we love Fayette. So, hey, Faye. All right, so that's the crew. Now, there's an extended piece of the crew because we got a lot of people that literally who reside in Vegas, and Vegas has literally now become my favorite hangout. I love Las Vegas. Oh my gosh, I love it. But Tiki 44, I ran into Tiki 44 in my travels. Okay, in my travels, I ran into her, and I said, "Who is this broad in this car?" She's like the party girl who has the kids, and she's a grown woman, but she doesn't look her age, and she knows how to have a good time, and she resides in Las Vegas, Nevada. And I loved her videos, and the first thing I did is I contacted my mother, and I said, "Look at this chick in this car. She's something else." And me and my mother was like, "She's really cool." And then I started shouting her out, and then other people were shouting her out, and people had started noticing her, and I was like, okay. And she's doing real well on YouTube, but she's one of those people you can't help but dislike her, and that's her thing, her slide on through. We love Tiki 44, and anytime we're in Vegas, she takes good care of us when we are there. So we love you, Tiki. Mwah! It's my baby there. Also down there in Vegas is Frank White. Frank White was actually a friend of Sean's. And I knew of Frank, but I didn't really know Frank. I ended up actually meeting Frank and his husband the first time back in April 2016 when we went to Vegas. They are just as sweet as they can be. And literally, whenever I'm in Vegas, they take care of us. They are the first ones who grabbed us up and took us down onto the strip and showed us a good time. The very first day we got down there, we were there for until like 3 a.m. Had a great time. And they just have always just showed us such love whenever we are in the Vegas area. So definitely love Frank White and his husband. Oh, man. Okay. Also in Vegas, and I know you know I was going to get around to her because she is a fellow Capricorn as well. Her and Alexander Rogers, they're Capricorns. The Ghetto View. The Ghetto View. The Ghetto View is not only just a Capricorn, okay? She's not just a Capricorn, she's a twin. So her and the twin are Capricorns, and they're both born on the same day as myself. We're all born on January 9th. And then something that I found out this past year, how about how small the world is? Sean Bradley's mother, his birth mother, her birthday's on January 9th as well. So it was a good day for the world, January 9th. But yeah, so the Ghetto View. She is a sweetie, and she's always really good to us when we come down to Vegas. You know, she comes and she parties and has a good time. She knows how to have a good time. And her thing is helping people to establish their brand. That's her thing. It's all about support. That's her brand. Her brand is to help other people establish their brand. She loves to be a supporter of people who are entrepreneurial. She loves it. That's her thing, the Ghetto View. And she does a lot of the same shows and things that we actually do. She's had some health scares and some health battles that she has stuck out, and they've all been documented right on her channel. She's good. She is good. And we love the Ghetto View, and I couldn't do this without mentioning her as well. So shout out to the Ghetto View. Ashley Miller. Ashley Miller is one that cannot be duplicated on YouTube. She does a lot of the same shows we do. And you notice a lot of us do the same things, but we have our own way of doing it. But when I tell you that Ashley Miller can't be duplicated, because everybody is always trying to figure out how it is that she does what she does. Ashley's middle name is consistency. You understand me? I don't know. I do a lot of videos each week. I don't know if there's anybody that does more videos per week than Ashley. She does a lot of shows, and she gets her videos out in such a way. It's like soon as the show's over, next thing you know, Ashley's popping a video. People can't figure it out. Ain't none of their business. They ain't supposed to figure it out. That's Ash's thing. And then she's also, Ashley Miller is all things Tyler Perry. You understand? She has met Tyler Perry. She has been to his home. He noticed her and invited her to a party at his home because she does some of the best reviews on Tyler Perry that are on YouTube. That's Ashley Miller. Consistency and all things Tyler Perry. Speaking of Tyler Perry, there's a group who actually does, they're not a group, they're a duo, who actually does Tyler Perry and does real good. They're right there with Ashley, and that is Random TV Reviews. Lynette and Stanley. They are a husband and wife team who actually does a lot of, they do Empire, they do Tyler Perry, have nots, and they used to do If Loving You Is Wrong, but got a little ticked off about that. They ain't been doing that. But they are a fierce duo down in Virginia, and they do what we all do, but they do it and they don't cuss. So, I'm always taken aback by them because I don't know how they can get through it and don't cuss, but they don't cuss. They don't cuss. They don't take no bullshit, but they don't cuss. So I definitely had to mention them because I love them too as well. Love Lynette and Stanley. Shout out to Random TV Reviews. Okay, and in the song, there's a whole section that when there's the good, there's the bad. Of course there is. This world is made up of 50% of everything. 50% of good, 50% of bad. So I have all these people that I love that I shouted out for this song. How can I do it without shouting out some haters? The haters are the motivators. The haters keep you going. The haters make you keep on thinking up new things to do and things just to make them mad because you're there and they can't do anything about it. So I definitely had to shout out my haters, the ones with the dirty feet that are filming from the trailer park and wearing dirty drawers and have bad credit and run around begging. I definitely had to shout out the haters. So, hey, haters. Lord have mercy. Gotta love them. Anyway, and definitely, last but not least, I couldn't go anywhere without talking about my subscribers. I can't do anything without the subscribers. I did not build my YouTube channel on my own. I remember being there when I didn't have any subscribers, where I was just putting up a video and didn't know if anybody was going to watch it at all. And that's where the subscribers came from. They came, and then they brought more people, and it was a group effort. And it is just building, and I have been building steadily ever since I started. It has been a steady movement. I've never hit a slump. I've never hit a low period. It has just been a constant build. And that is all due to the subscribers. I love you guys. And like I said, I can't do this. There would be no purpose in me doing this if there was nobody watching. The new people come because some subscribers seen them and shared and brought them in. So literally, I couldn't do this without my subscribers. So I definitely had to shout you guys out. I love you guys. Mwah. And yeah, like I said, I talked about him a little bit briefly in the beginning, but Hyper Inc. is actually one person. and he is phenomenal. Everything that you have seen is really, he's responsible for it. He's had his hand in every piece of this project from the beginning all the way through, visually, digitally, um, musically. He has been a part of all of this. And I definitely have to take the time to shout him out and tell him thank you very, very much. I could not have done this without you. And hey, there's not enough words. All right, guys. So I'm going to get on out of here because I've talked long enough. I thank you guys for the inspiration. I thank you guys for riding with me. I hope you enjoyed the song. And definitely, I love you all. And keep your ears and your eyes open. I got more things to come. Later, guys.